back to True Intent. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Thank you for being with us. If you would, please like, comment, or share this, and hopefully it'll be a blessing to somebody else. We appreciate you joining us today. Well, listen, today is a little different session, a little different discussion. I want to take our 10 minutes together today and tell you about my journey with COVID-19. We have seen a lot about this pandemic in the news. We have seen a lot of updates, a lot of stories about people. I've actually had friends and family that have struggled through this. I've had friends that have passed away from this, friends that have struggled through this. But I wanted to tell our True Intent family today that that's not the only story with COVID-19. I know that it varies from person to person, from case to case, but the horrible outcomes, the negative stories, and the dreary outcomes are not the only one there. So I wanted to share my experience with you on this journey. At the time that I am recording this is day 4 for me. By the time it publishes, I'll probably be closer to day 8 or 9. But I wanted to kind of tell you my experience with this thus far. So my symptoms began with low fever and body aches. And I went to bed one night feeling that way. Woke up the next morning feeling the same way. And so I went to the doctor and got my test. Within 24 hours, I got the result that I was positive for COVID-19. Now I'm over the age of 40. I have a heart condition, a genetic heart condition, and asthma. And so that does place me in the high risk category. So I wanted to take extra precautions to try to keep from getting this. And now that I have contracted it, I obviously wanted to be very aggressive and proactive about treatment and doing different things that I could to check on. I have talked to my doctors over the last several months, heart cardiologists and GPs and things about, well, if I were to get this, what should we do? So anyway, I want to just tell you a little bit about what I've done and what I have seen personally. I have been on high doses of vitamin D, zinc, multivitamin every day. Part of my asthma medication includes Advair, Singulair, and then I have heart medications and that sort of thing. I also have an inhaler, what they call a rescue inhaler, albuterol. And so for the past 3 or 4 days, I have in the mornings and the evenings, I have a low-grade fever, 99, 99.5. I've woken up with that kind of fever. I've gone to bed with that kind of fever. It usually subsides during the day. What I have started is an aspirin regimen. I take my inhaler in the morning along with the Advair, which is a inhaled steroid, with the vitamin D, the zinc, the multivitamin, and then lots of water. 8 to 10 bottles of water a day, somewhere between 90 and 120 ounces of water a day. And then, of course, a lot of prayer from our church family, from friends and family, a lot of support. And so I do give God the glory for what I consider at this point, what I've really had is mild flu-like symptoms, cough, low-grade fever, body aches, a little bit of dizziness the last yesterday and today, but nothing too extreme, and definitely nothing that feels like it's going to send me to the hospital or threaten my life, thank the Lord. And so that's been my experience thus far. Now, last night I did start with some thieves. Some people have some essential oils, lavender, peppermint thieves. We started that last night. My wife has some of those. We have no children, but my wife, obviously here in the house with me, she's had no symptoms, thank the Lord. And so we're just believing that she's not gonna contract this. And so I wanted to share with you today that there are good outcomes, even for high-risk people, those of us with underlying medical conditions. You hear people with comorbidities and underlying health conditions that it's almost a guaranteed death sentence. And we'll see how this next week goes for me. But today I woke up on day 4 with no fever, no breathing issues. I haven't had my inhaler today. I haven't had to take any kind of aspirin for fever. I will stay on a aspirin regimen, low dose aspirin regimen for the blood clotting. And so I think we need to take this serious. We need to take precautions. I know I have, being high risk, but we don't need to live life in fear, and we don't need to concern ourselves to the point of weighing ourselves down with anxiety over this thing. Can it be bad for certain people? Absolutely. If you're in the high risk, if you're in a certain age bracket, then please take extra precautions. But please live your life with the necessary precautions and don't live out of fear. Well, Chris, why are you taking time to tell us about your experience with COVID-19? Well, not only do I want to tell you that there is a decent outcome to this, that there is, making our way through this, again, day 4, going into day 5 tomorrow. But I also wanted to talk to some people that may be listening today, that may be watching today. Maybe you're facing COVID. Maybe you're facing cancer. Maybe you've experienced the loss of a loved one. Maybe you've had a loss of a job. Regardless of your situation, regardless of where you find yourself today, if you're facing a tragedy, if you're facing something that could be tragic, something that you don't know the outcome, there's one thing that is certain, and that is uncertainty. That is questions. And those things can bring about fear. They can bring about doubt. They can bring about anxiety. So what I wanted to share with you today is Proverbs chapter 3, beginning in verse 5. The wise man wrote, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take." So I want to encourage somebody today, regardless of what you're facing, regardless of what situation you find yourself in. Again, from COVID to cancer, from loss of a loved one to loss of a job. When you are facing uncertainty, know that God is certain, that God's word is true, that God's promises are real. He will never leave us. He'll never forsake us. It doesn't matter what comes our way. It doesn't matter what life brings our direction. We can hold to the promises of God. Here I sit with the virus that is a global pandemic, and they tell me that days 5 through 10, which will be this week for me, is the worst. So there's some question and some uncertainty. And I can look and I can find a lot of research, and I can find a lot of papers, and I can find a lot of articles and a lot of things on the internet that try to bring me some human understanding, some carnal understanding, the little that they have of COVID-19. But I'm choosing today, and I'm encouraging you to do the same, regardless of your diagnosis, regardless of your trial, regardless of your trouble. I'm encouraging you today to lean not to man's understanding, to lean not to the understanding that you can get from the articles, from the internet, from friends, from other experiences, but rather trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and let God direct your path. And I hope this has been encouraging today. I hope you find that if you're facing COVID like me, that there can be a decent outcome. If you're facing some other trial, don't lean to your own understanding, but trust in the Lord, and he'll direct your path. We love each and every one of you. If this has been a blessing, please like, comment, or share. Share your story of what you're going through. If you're not listening on the podcast, if you're listening on Facebook or on YouTube, you want to put in the comments and encourage somebody with your own testimony, your own story. Do that. That'll encourage somebody. We love each and every one of you. We're praying for our True N10 family, that everyone stays healthy and stays safe. And until next time, continue to expect greater things. God bless.